Imagine throwing this massive, multi-billion-dollar neighborhood party, right? You're lighting up the sky with these highly explosive glow sticks, and then you realize the one person you desperately wanted to impress didn't even look out their window.
Yeah, and then imagine realizing that your other neighbor is quietly manipulating the minds of everyone else on the block, shaping their reality without spending a single dime on explosives.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time zone you're in. Welcome back to Sip and Talk. I'm Joe.
I'm Sunny. Welcome, everyone. Glad to be here. We've got a really fascinating one today.
We really do. Sip and Talkers, today we are looking at how global powers are basically trying to hack your attention. Some do it with literal earth-shaking explosions in the ocean.
Right.
And others do it completely silently, right through like the lifestyle vlogs and makeup tutorials on your phone. So our mission today is to break down the mechanics of both.
Exactly. It's the ultimate spectrum of influence, really.
Yeah, and by the end of this conversation, you're going to walk away with what we're calling the ultimate independent thinking toolkit.
Which you absolutely need right now, because on one end, you have physical hardware lighting up the Pacific, and on the other, you have algorithms shaping your perceptions. But the underlying goal is identical. They are hacking human perception to gain geopolitical leverage.
So let's start with the physical hardware, because Kim Jong-un has been experiencing what I can only describe as like peak geopolitical FOMO.
Oh, for sure. Fear of missing out is driving a lot of this.
Totally. The whole world is hyper-focused on Ukraine, the Middle East, whatever Trump is doing on any given day.
Yeah.
So North Korea decides, hey, let's fire off about 10 short-range ballistic missiles into the sea right outside Japan's exclusive economic zone.
Right, the EEZ.
Yeah. 0 casualties, 0 damage. It honestly feels like Kim Jong-un is standing in the corner of a really crowded room, aggressively waving those explosive glow sticks and just screaming, "Look at me!"
I mean, the glow stick analogy paints a great picture, but we really have to look past the surface level tantrum here.
Okay, pump the brakes for me. What am I missing?
From a structural military perspective, this is a highly calculated move. The data indicates these were likely KN-25 super large rockets. And the detail that matters isn't just that they fired 10 of them, it's the specific timing.
Meaning what, exactly?
Well, these KN-25s are now launching within mere seconds of each other.
I remember reading that and thinking, okay, they figured out how to press the launch buttons faster. Big deal. But why does that fractional timing matter so much strategically?
It comes down to the brutal math of missile defense. If an adversary fires one missile, a defense system's radar tracks it, calculates the trajectory, and, an interceptor destroys it. It's a one-on-one problem.
Okay, makes sense.
But if you fire 10 missiles near simultaneously, you're testing a mechanism called a saturation attack. You are intentionally throwing more targets at the defense radar than its computer processors can actually calculate at once.
Oh, wow. So you're just trying to crash the computer?
Basically, yes. The goal is to overwhelm the processing capability of systems like the Patriot batteries or THAAD.
THAAD, the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense System. I always picture THAAD as like the ultimate heavily armored bouncer standing outside a club.
Yeah, it's a good way to look at it.
And there's a massive rumor circulating right now about that exact bouncer. There is a lot of chatter out of South Korea suggesting the U.S. might have quietly moved some of its THAAD assets out of the region to deal with the escalating tensions in the Middle East.
Which brings us right back to the motivation for the launch. Think about it. If North Korea suspects the bouncer has left the front door to go break up a fight down the street...
You test the door.
Exactly. Launching a 10-missile saturation attack right now is a deliberate poke at the South Korean and U.S. defense posture. They are looking for gaps in the radar coverage.
They want to see if the defense umbrella has hollowed out. Like, is the bodyguard actually still in the building? And to make the whole thing even more surreal, Kim Jong-un brought his daughter to the launch.
Yeah, that was wild.
It feels like a twisted family reality show. Like, come on, kids, grab your coats. We're going to go test the neighbor's multi-billion-dollar alarm system.
Right, a family outing.
But let's zoom out to the 2026 global chessboard for a second. Because firing these KN-25s isn't happening in a vacuum. The reports show a massive, tectonic shift in North Korea's status.
Yeah, the old isolated hermit kingdom label, it really doesn't apply anymore. North Korea has effectively transformed into a massive military factory for the anti-Western bloc.
The trade agreements we are seeing are just staggering. They've shipped millions of artillery shells and deployed, around 10,000 soldiers to Russia?
Yeah, roughly 10,000, and they definitely aren't doing that out of the goodness of their hearts.
No, the trade-off is massive. North Korea is receiving food and fuel, which keeps the regime alive, obviously. But critically, they are getting top-tier military tech in return.
Right, they're receiving ICBM intercontinental ballistic missile technology.
And there's intel suggesting Russia is actively helping them build a brand new class of missile destroyer, too, the Cho-Hyon class.
The Cho-Hyon class, yes. And that takes North Korea from just defending its coastline to actually projecting power out into the ocean. It's a huge leap.
They are trading raw, dumb firepower, like basic artillery shells, for highly advanced strategic upgrades.
And this completely upends the traditional power dynamic in Asia, specifically for China.
I was thinking about this dynamic earlier, and it reminds me of an awkward landlord situation.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Think about it. For decades, China was North Korea's only window to the outside world. They were the blood brother buffer zone. The landlord, Beijing, controlled everything because the tenant, Pyongyang, literally had nowhere else to go.
Right, they were entirely dependent.
But now, that unruly tenant just went out and hired a new, very aggressive Russian bodyguard. Suddenly, the tenant is paying rent in artillery shells to Moscow, and the landlord China is sitting there realizing they are losing all their leverage.
It's true. Beijing finds itself in a very uncomfortable position right now. China's primary geopolitical goal in that specific region has always been stability.
They want things quiet.
Exactly. They want North Korea as a buffer state to keep U.S. forces away from the Chinese border, but they absolutely do not want a volatile fire hazard next door that could trigger a regional war.
Right.
But now they're watching Kim Jong-un act with a level of independence and bravado fueled entirely by Russian backing. China is losing that remote control influence they relied on for decades.
And the neighbors next door are definitely smelling the smoke from that fire hazard. This saturation attack is triggering a massive regional domino effect.
Oh, absolutely.
Every other country in the region is looking at this 10-missile party and using it to justify completely rewriting their own military rulebooks. Let's look at South Korea.
Yeah, the shift there is profound.
For years, the political conversation in Seoul leaned heavily toward dialogue, sunshine policies, peaceful reunification. Not anymore. They have officially declared North Korea their primary enemy.
The shift in Seoul's military doctrine it's historic. They're rapidly advancing their kill chain strategy, specifically a system known as KMPR.
Korea Massive Punishment and Retaliation.
Right.
I mean, KMPR sounds like an action movie title, but the mechanics of it are actually terrifying. It's essentially the decapitation strategy, right? How does a preemptive system like that actually work on the ground?
Well, it relies on hyper-advanced surveillance and bunker-busting munitions. The logic is that South Korea cannot afford to wait for a nuclear-tipped missile to actually leave the launch pad.
Because by then it's too late.
Exactly. So if their intelligence and satellite reconnaissance detect the fueling cycles and the specific movement patterns that indicate an imminent launch, KMPR dictates that South Korea strikes first.
Wait, really? They just hit the button first?
They strike first. They send specialized missiles to vaporize the launch pads and simultaneously target the deep underground bunkers where the North Korean leadership operates.
Wow.
The stance has officially shifted from "we will defend ourselves" to "if you twitch, we will end the regime."
That is intense. And then you look across the water at Japan. Tokyo is taking this threat and turning it into political fuel. Every time a North Korean missile splashes down near their EEZ, it provides the domestic justification needed to push through these historic, unprecedented defense budget increases.
It's true. It allows Japan to fundamentally alter its post-war pacifist constitution.
Right. They're heavily investing in what they call counterstrike capabilities.
Historically, their military was strictly limited to shooting down incoming threats, pure defense. But with North Korea demonstrating the ability to fire these barrages of short-range missiles, Japanese leadership can make the argument to their public that true defense is impossible without the ability to strike the enemy's launch sites directly.
So Kim Jong-un's muscle flexing is directly accelerating the militarization of all his neighbors.
Exactly. He's driving the exact thing he doesn't want.
Kim thinks he's showing off his new toys, but he's actually just giving Japan and South Korea the perfect political excuse to buy better armor and sharper swords.
It is a wild dynamic.
It really is. But here's the crazy part. Kim Jong-un is spending billions of dollars to test physical radar. Meanwhile, another global power realized it is infinitely cheaper to bypass the radar entirely and target the human brain.
Right. We are moving from the physical battlefield of the Pacific to the invisible battlefield sitting right in your pocket.
Cognitive warfare. Let's unpack how the CCP approaches this, specifically through the concept of framing.
This is crucial to understand.
Because I think when most of us hear the word propaganda, we picture, like, black and white footage, giant red banners, military parades, someone shouting through a megaphone,
Yeah.
But that is completely outdated.
Direct propaganda is incredibly inefficient today. It instantly triggers our psychological defense mechanisms.
Right. If I walk up to you and say, hey, support this authoritarian policy,
Yeah.
your guard goes up immediately.
Exactly. You recognize you're being sold a political ideology. But the strategy of framing is much more insidious. It's about quietly promoting a specific set of underlying values so that your baseline assumptions about the world are altered without you ever noticing.
Okay, give me a technical example. What does framing look like when a listener is just sitting on their couch, scrolling through their phone?
Picture a beautifully shot, highly produced travel vlog about spending a day in Shanghai.
Okay, I've seen a million of those.
Right. The creator takes you along as they show how incredibly clean the streets are, how safe they feel walking home alone at 2 a.m., and how seamlessly integrated and advanced the high-speed rail network is.
Yeah, and on the surface, it's just a completely apolitical travel video.
Exactly. But the frame being established in your subconscious is, quote, a strong centralized government equals a safe, high-tech, good life.
Wow.
The underlying value being pushed is that social order and technological convenience are inherently more valuable than messy personal freedoms.
So you're just watching someone eat amazing soup dumplings and ride a bullet train, and suddenly you're internalizing the idea that strict social control is a fair trade-off for zero street crime.
It's brilliant, honestly.
It's brilliant and terrifying. And the reports we're looking at break this strategy down into a 3-layer persuasion machine. Layer 1 is the KOLs, the key opinion leaders.
This is the foundational layer. It involves weaponizing everyday, relatable content.
This is the part that blows my mind because it is so thoroughly depoliticized. We are talking about 20-somethings doing makeup tutorials, or a guy in his bedroom doing an unboxing video of a new AI gadget.
Yeah, they're friendly, they don't wear suits, they don't use political jargon.
Right. They're on platforms like TikTok or Xiangshu, and they are quietly selling a worldview right alongside their lip gloss recommendations.
The ideology is treated exactly like product placement.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
A creator might do a video marveling at how fast Chinese AI models are advancing and casually frame it as, well, the West is constantly trying to hold us down with sanctions, but look at how our culture of hard work is innovating past them. They are subtly pushing a narrative of nationalistic tech competition. And these specific KOLs are heavily amplified by overseas networks, ensuring their content consistently lands in the feeds of Western audiences.
Which feeds perfectly into layer 2. The grassroots little pinks. This is the astroturfing layer.
Astroturfing is a term everyone needs to understand.
Break it down for us.
It's the practice of masking the sponsors of a message to make it appear as though it originates from organic, grassroots participants. Fake grass.
Fake grass. It looks like a real lawn, but it's totally plastic.
Exactly.
I've definitely noticed this online. You see a post, and suddenly there are hundreds of comments saying the exact same weirdly phrased thing. But the goal of this fake grass isn't actually to change my mind, is it?
Not at all. The goal is to manufacture a fake consensus.
Okay.
This relies heavily on the psychology of conformity. Think of the famous Asch conformity experiments, where people would give clearly wrong answers to a simple question just because everyone else in the room gave the wrong answer.
Oh, right. Peer pressure on a massive scale.
Yes. If you watch a video and see 10,000 comments aggressively supporting a specific state-aligned viewpoint, human nature makes you second-guess your own dissent. You start to feel like the crazy outlier.
Because everyone else seems to agree.
Exactly. The goal isn't to win a debate, it's to create the overwhelming illusion that the debate is already over and you lost.
That is so deeply manipulative. You aren't being persuaded. You're being socially bullied by an algorithm.
Yep. And then at the very top of this machine, we have layer 3, the wolf warrior diplomats.
The wolf warriors. This is the official top-down layer of the strategy.
Right. Wolf warriors are the attack dogs of the diplomatic corps. They intentionally break traditional, polite diplomatic norms using highly confrontational, often aggressive language on global platforms like X.
Right. They aren't trying to build bridges with other nations. They're trying to project an image of absolute unstoppable strength to their domestic audience and to their detractors.
And this creates a perfectly closed-loop system of cognitive engineering.
How does the loop work?
Well, the wolf warrior diplomat makes an aggressive, norm-breaking statement. Immediately, the little pinks swarm social media to artificially amplify that statement and viciously crush anyone who criticizes it.
Right.
Meanwhile, the KOLs are churning out soft lifestyle content that reinforces the underlying values of national pride and technological supremacy, top down, bottom up, and sideways, all simultaneously.
It is an absolute engineering marvel designed to hack how we process reality. But, Sunny, this is where I really need to push back.
Okay, hit me.
I hear all this, and I think of myself or any of our Sip&Talkers just trying to watch a makeup tutorial or catch up on the news while drinking their morning coffee. How on earth does a regular person fight back against a state-sponsored algorithmic loop? It feels literally impossible.
It's difficult, but not impossible. It just requires building new habits. I suggest a 3-step mind defense toolkit.
Okay, toolkit time. Step 1.
Step 1 is the 3-second emotion test.
The 3-second emotion test. Walk us through the mechanics of that.
Content designed to manipulate you targets the amygdala, the emotional processing center of your brain, before your prefrontal cortex, your logical brain, can even turn on.
Right, it gets you in the feels before you can think.
Exactly. When you stop scrolling on a video, pay acute attention to the first 3 seconds of your emotional reaction. If a piece of content makes you feel extreme, sudden anger, or an overwhelming, tear-jerking sense of pride, pause.
Take a breath.
Yes. If it combines that extreme emotion with zero verifiable evidence and relies on repetitive, absolute phrases like, everyone knows this, or we are unstoppable, you are watching a manufactured narrative, not organic content.
Emotion is the hook. If they can make me furious or incredibly proud before I have time to ask for a source, they've successfully bypassed my radar.
Bingo.
Okay, what is step 2?
Step 2 is reverse questioning. You have to actively interrogate the premise of the content by swapping variables.
Like Mad Libs.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, if I swap the name of the country in this video with another country, would this argument still seem reasonable or would it seem terrifying?
Oh, that is a fantastic mental hack. If I'm watching a video praising a government for implementing widespread facial recognition for, efficiency and public safety,
Right.
and I mentally swap that country's name to my own country,
Right.
suddenly it doesn't feel like a cool tech innovation. It feels like a dystopian nightmare.
Precisely. It strips away the framing.
Yeah.
You also need to reverse question the structure of the engagement.
What do you mean by that?
Ask, why are these identical, oddly phrased comments appearing word for word across 10 different creators' videos at the exact same minute?
Looking for the fake grass.
Yes. Once you train your eye to look for the copy-paste patterns of the astroturfing little pinks, you will start seeing the fake grass everywhere.
It's like seeing the Matrix. You just can't unsee it. Okay, 3-second emotion test, reverse questioning. What is the final step in the toolkit?
Step 3 is to break the bubble.
Break the bubble.
The algorithms governing these platforms are specifically designed to feed you more of what you already engage with, creating an echo chamber. You have to intentionally disrupt that algorithmic feed.
How do we do that practically?
Make it a daily habit to read news from at least 3 different geopolitical regions. Look at how a major story is covered in the U.S., then actively go search for how it is being reported in Taiwan, Europe, or Japan.
I love that approach. If you only look through one window, you only see one small patch of the yard. You have to force yourself to walk around the house.
That's a great analogy. And crucially, when you see a massive online mob attacking someone, take the extra 60 seconds to actually read the original primary statement that person made before you adopt the mob's judgment.
Right. Don't just jump on the bandwagon.
Treat the phrase, everyone is saying this, as a warning siren for manipulation, not as evidence of the truth.
This has been such a mind-expanding conversation. Bringing it all together, what's the bottom line for the listener today?
The overarching reality is that whether you are dealing with the physical threat of a KN-25 missile saturation attack in the Pacific, or the subtle algorithmic framing of an AI unboxing video on your phone, the mechanics of influence are constantly operating around you.
They never sleep.
No, they don't. Global powers are fighting a quiet war for leverage, and your attention, your perception of reality, is the very terrain they are fighting over. Ultimately, your own critical awareness is your best and only defense.
Awareness is the ultimate shield. But before we wrap up, I want to leave everyone with a final thought that really builds on this.
Go for it.
We talked about those KOLs, the relatable 20-somethings doing makeup tutorials and tech unboxings.
Yeah.
Right now, those are real humans being amplified by a state apparatus.
Right.
But with generative AI advancing as fast as it is, What happens next year when those relatable influencers are entirely synthetic?
Oh, man.
I mean, think about it. When a state can generate 10,000 perfectly charming, hyper-realistic AI creators who never sleep, never demand a paycheck, and perfectly execute the framing strategy 24/7, will we even have a human baseline left to trust? Something to mull over the next time you scroll.
A very unsettling but definitely necessary question for the near future.
Sip and Talkers, I want to reiterate something really important as we wrap up today. On Sip and Talk, our goal is never to criticize or discriminate against any country, any group, or any people.
Absolutely not.
We are simply here to look at the objective facts, to explore these complex global mechanisms, and to exercise our independent, critical thinking muscles together.
And as always, just a quick reminder, since we discussed defense budgets, military tech, and global economics today, we are not financial advisors. Any data or economic trends discussed are for informational purposes only, not investment advice.
Yes, very important. If you enjoyed our conversation today and want to keep building that mind defense toolkit, please hit that subscribe button for the Sip and Talk podcast. We absolutely love having you here in the community.
We really do.
And I want to give a massive shout out to our old friend, Mickey. Go check out his YouTube channel, Mickey to Life. He just dropped some amazing new travel vlogs that you definitely do not want to miss. That is Mickey to Life on YouTube.
Keep your eyes open, verify what you see, and don't get distracted by the glow sticks.
See you next episode.
See you next time.